guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Regional German Dialects Compared. I think German, it's a really interesting language. I think it has so many variations, and of course each region, I think maybe you can say this about so many languages, but I think Germany specifically has so many different regions that of course it doesn't surprise me. They probably have a lot of dialects as well. But let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Hallo Leute, vor kurzem waren wir mit unserem Easy German Team in verschiedenen Städten in Deutschland unterwegs und haben ein Video über regionale Dialekte in Deutschland gemacht. Und zwar haben wir Menschen auf der Straße gefragt, ob sie einen regionalen Dialekt sprechen und ob sie ihr Frühstück in diesem Dialekt beschreiben können. Wir fangen an in Baden-Württemberg. Dort spricht man vor allem Alemannisch und Schwäbisch.
Ich habe heute Morgen ein Weckle mit Butter und Marmelade gefrühstückt.
Ich habe heute Morgen Müsli gefrühstückt.
That's so German.
Ja. Mit was? Haferflocken, Nüsse, Pfirsich, verschiedene Sonnenblumenkerne, verschiedene Kerne, sowas, genau, ja.
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus Bad Waldsee, aus Oberschwabe.
Was hast du heute Morgen gefrühstückt auf Schwäbisch?
Ein Wecker mit Breschlängsgesels.
Was heißt das?
Ein Brötchen mit Erdbeermarmelade.
Okay, something very specific.
Sehr gut sogar.
Möchtest du
So how she said it and she pronounced it is not something that the interviewer understands.
etwas vorsprechen?
It's a regional word.
Soll ich ein Maultaschenrezept erzählen? Also, oder wenn ich Spatze zusammenbreche, schlage ich erstmal 5 Eier in die Schüssel, dann, je nach Gusto, Sprudel oder Milch und dann halt Mehl, so bis Blase schlecht, sage ich mal.
A pancake?
Wow, das ist echt schwierig zu verstehen.
In Deutschland gibt es ungefähr 20 verschiedene Dialektgruppen und in einer Umfrage des Instituts für deutsche Sprache gaben ungefähr 50% aller Deutschen an, dass sie neben dem Hochdeutschen auch einen regionalen Dialekt sprechen. Und diese regionalen Dialekte, die sind ganz unterschiedlich ausgeprägt. Auf dem Land.
And isn't Low German? No, I think Low German is popular. I think in the northeastern, but I think High German is more popular, right?
Spricht man eher Dialekte als in der Stadt. Und im Süden von Deutschland spricht man mehr Dialekte als im Norden.
Oh, it's just
besonders ausgeprägt im Süden ist der bayerische Dialekt.
Yeah.
Woher kommst du?
Landkreis Dranstein beim Chiemsee.
Was hast du heute Morgen gefrühstückt?
Also ich habe ein Porridge gegessen mit Feigen und Bananen und eine Hafermilch dazu.
I think
Woher kommst
they
du?
sound very
Aus
German.
Mainburg, in Niederbayern. Ich habe heute Morgen, heute in der Früh, Wurstsemmel gegessen.
Also ich habe einen Schweinsbraten gegessen mit Semmelknödel und Sauerkraut. Ist zwar total gelungen, aber sagen wir mal, ich hätte es gern gegessen.
Was hast du heute Morgen gefrühstückt?
Also ich habe heute in der Früh ein Wurstbrittel gegessen.
Und du?
Und ich habe in der Früh Müsli gegessen.
Ich esse nichts in der Früh, weil ich Intervallfasten muss.
Okay,
Meine Freundin sagt immer, dass ich so dick bin.
Im Norden von Deutschland gibt es weniger Dialekte als im Süden von Deutschland. Allerdings gibt es im Norden auch einige eigene Sprachen, so zum Beispiel die friesischen Sprachen und das Plattdeutsche.
Yeah.
Auf unserer Tour haben wir auch einen Mann aus Varel in Niedersachsen getroffen, der ein wenig Plattdeutsch spricht.
Was haben Sie heute Morgen gefrühstückt?
Ja, was habe ich gefrühstückt? 2 Pot Kaffee, Brötchen eten, Käse habe ich drauf gemacht und Konfitüre, schmeckte mooi. Und dann noch ein Glas O-Saft. Die Tabletten wird ja auch irgendwie runter und das wird.
Als nächstes schauen wir uns an, wie Menschen in Leipzig ihr Frühstück beschreiben. In Leipzig spricht man den sächsischen Dialekt.
Heute Morgen habe ich ein Brötchen gegessen in der Schule und es war mit Frischkäse und es hat gut geschmeckt, war lecker. Eine Bämme oder 2 Bämmen habe ich gegessen.
Sind das Schnitten oder sind das Brote? Oder?
Das sind Brotscheiben. Eine Bämme auf Sächsisch. Wir sagen auch manchmal, wenn wir nicht wissen, was essen wir denn heute Abend, was kochen wir denn und keiner hat eine Idee, dann sagen wir, wir essen Bämme mit Brot.
Ich habe ein Brötchen gegessen.
mit Marmelade.
Eine Butterbämme und schlürfen unseren Blämchenkaffee, ist was Sächsisches. Kennt ihr das? Der Blämchenkaffee, also Kaffee, Bohnenkaffee. Und wenn der besonders dünn ist, und die Sachsen trinken, glaube ich, viel dünnen Kaffee, also ich selber trinke zwar starken Kaffee, aber in den Gaststätten gibt es eher dünnen Kaffee. Und dünnen Kaffee nennt man Blämchenkaffee. Und zwar, weil früher hatte man ja oft Blumenmuster im Porzellan, in der Porzellantasse. Und wenn der Kaffee so dünn war, dass man durch den Kaffee die Blume durchsehen konnte, dann war es ein Blämchenkaffee.
Zum Abschluss schauen wir uns noch 2 Dialekte aus Westdeutschland an, nämlich den rheinischen Dialekt und das Trierer Platt.
Heute Morgen zum Frühstück hatte ich ein Brötchen mit Klatschkies und Marmelade. Das heißt jetzt auf Deutsch mit Quark und Marmelade.
Helmut, kannst du einmal im Trierer Platt beschreiben, was du heute Morgen gefrühstückt hast?
Klar, heute Morgen war ich gekocht Ei, dann habe ich einen Wurstschmier gehabt, dann habe ich einen Kiesschmier gehabt, haben wir noch schön Marmeladeschmierchen gemacht und dann Pfefferminztee mit bisschen Honig drin. Gut rumgerührt, den Pfefferminz habe ich daheim selbst geerntet, alles reingemacht und das war super Frühstück. Ich muss sagen, danach sind ich 50 Kilometer bis nach Saarburg gefahren. Mein Frühstück.
Jetzt denkt ihr bestimmt, so viele Dialekte in Deutschland. Oh nein, was soll ich machen? Soll ich jetzt einen Dialekt lernen? Wenn ihr nach Deutschland kommt, solltet ihr unbedingt Hochdeutsch lernen. Hochdeutsch wird eigentlich überall verstanden, wird auch in den meisten Städten in Deutschland gesprochen und es ist auch immer die Basis dafür, wenn ihr tatsächlich einen Dialekt lernen möchtet. Und wenn ihr jetzt Hochdeutsch lernen möchtet, dann könnt ihr zum Beispiel unsere App Seedlang benutzen. Bei Seedlang gibt es ganz verschiedene Aufgaben und unter anderem gibt es eine Aufgabe, in der ihr selbst euer gesprochenes Deutsch aufnehmen müsst und euch später nochmal anhören könnt. Dadurch könnt ihr eure deutsche Aussprache Schritt für Schritt verbessern. Hier könnt ihr direkt zu Seedlang gehen und hier unten gibt es noch weitere Links zu den deutschen Dialekten. Tschüss und bis Sonntag.
I think it was incredible just listening to how everyone really speaks. I think you can really do tell the difference. I think specifically those last two, the Low German and I think it was the Saxon one. It was the Saxon one, yeah. Or maybe not. But those last two, I think they were very distinct. I don't know how to explain it because I think it's something hard, but I think it just sounds sort of, I don't know, they're sort of rolling their R's a little bit more. I don't know how to explain it, but it just sounds a little, I think, maybe again, this could be just because, I don't know, the people that were talking, they're just, I don't know, they feel, it was the Rhenish dialect, not the Saxon one, the Rhenish, I can't remember. But I think those two were, again, just very, I don't know, when they're trying to pronounce, I don't know, it's just how they're pronouncing the words, but it just sounds a little harsher, I think. It's just very, I don't know. I just, maybe it's just the two, it was a random coincidence that the two people that they spoke in this kind of dialect, they just really spoke like this because that's really how they speak. But I think if I'm guiding myself with it, I think they're just very, they're overly enunciating, but it sounds in a way that I think sounds a little bit harsher than the other, I think, dialects. And I think they're pronouncing, I think the R's are harder, and there are certain sounds that just sound harder in general. But maybe that was just my little impression. I think the others are a little bit sort of softer in their way of speaking. I don't know. It's just hard for me to explain. The other, I think it was really the one that there was this guy in the green shirt. I think he was speaking. I think he was from Lower Saxony. I found it really, I think, a little bit easier again to understand. It's not necessarily, because there are certain words that you pick up here and there. and I think it's easier to sort of understand. I think that's the easier one. Some of them I think were also a little bit easier to understand, a little bit. But I think that guy was probably the one that I think to my untrained ear sounded the most. I think, okay, well, maybe I can understand him a little bit better than the rest. But I don't know, that's again because this man just spoke like this, or it was about the dialect that he was speaking. But it's really funny because seeing them like this and seeing all the clips together, you're thinking, oh, at least I know that I was thinking they sound so different from each other. It's just, I don't know, it's really, really hard. And I was thinking, if you want to actually, like they said, you want to learn a very specific dialect from all the ones that they showed us, although I know that there's plenty more. It would be really, really hard. I'm wondering if Germans themselves, I think, learn to speak other types of dialect. Probably not, because obviously if you are from a place and you're from that region, and then maybe you move to another city, but you're still in that region, maybe you don't really feel the need to speak, to learn another regional dialect. Is why would I? Because obviously, we can understand each other perfectly fine. So why would I? But I'm wondering I think just if you ever move somewhere else, you're just going to pick up a few things here and there just because, again, you have to interact with people, or you're just picking up things again and just living your life. So maybe it happens sort of in a way that you don't really realize until I'm wondering if that happens as well. As in, oh yeah, you move to a different part of the country. They speak with another dialect, and then you didn't make a conscious effort to learn it, but then you absorb this, and then a few years later, I don't know, you meet people from back home, and then when you go back, they'll talk to you and be, hey, why are you talking like this? Why you're speaking like this? What did you do? It's, oh yeah, you're definitely speaking with another dialect now. Even if there's a few words that I think come out here and there, whether that's the way you pronounce certain things, certain words, and yeah, I'm wondering if that happens. And people are, when you move back home or you're just visiting, people are a little, what are you talking about? And I wonder, I think that happens because I think it's only natural that, again, once you start, I think it's really easy to pick up on accents and things like that, dialects, accents. I think it's really, really easy than you probably believe. It's just I think humans by nature try to, I think, replicate how other people, when you're interacting with other person or other people, I think you ultimately, and this also is probably a subconscious thing. Your brain, I think, tries to replicate them and tries to imitate them. And you're not trying to make fun of them. I was like, oh, how do you pronounce it? Brat? No, it's not like that. It's just something that I think happens naturally. And then when you realize, I think I'm subconsciously trying to replicate what you're talking about. And I think it's really, really easy, I think, to pick up on accents like that, just because you're just going to do it. And I think obviously if it's just if you do it for you're talking to someone for a few hours, that doesn't happen. But I think if it's a constant thing and you've been doing this for you're in a certain place, interacting with certain people for a few weeks and for a few months, it happens. And then when you listen to yourself talk or someone points it out, I think I'm switching my accent. It happens. And again, for some people will probably try to think, oh, you're making fun of me, but no, it's just a thing. But I don't know. I would love to actually learn a few of these dialects, just because even though she mentioned obviously you need the neutral one, that's obviously not the Low German one. I know that's really only a few people who speak that, but I think the High German one, I think that's obviously the way to go. Obviously, you want to speak something that most people speak, because you're not going to speak something very regional that no one really understands. Because, well, I mean, you can obviously, it's your life, but I think the purpose of, I think maybe, well, if you want to challenge yourself, yeah, sure, go ahead. But obviously, like she said, the easiest one to, maybe not the easiest one, but I think the basis of it all, speak with first, I think you have to learn how to master the neutral and the basics of this language. And then once you get the hang of it and you already know and you already learned it perfectly, then you sort of can, okay, now I'm going to learn another regional things and I'm going to, expand myself. Which, great piece of advice. I think it would be harder if you just started speaking and you learned how to speak with another sort of dialect, and then you're trying to go back and switch back and forward to the neutral one, to the standard. I think that would probably be a little bit harder, just because I think it's really, I don't know, it's just harder, I think, in general, to unlearn certain things, although technically you're going to have to learn it again, but I don't know, it's just very confusing. And I will say, I think the Bavarian one is just the one that sounds more, I don't know, obviously all these people are German, but I think it's just the one that sounds more stereotypically German. It's what I would assume. For some people, I do believe that obviously the presenter, the one that's introduced in the video, I think she's obviously the one that speaks with a standard sort of German accent, sort of neutral thing that I just mentioned. That the Bavarian one, for some reason, I think that's just very, I don't know, they just sound very, very German. Maybe, I don't know why. It just when they were talking, it's just, oh my god, they sound so specifically German. I don't know how to explain it. It's just not that the others do not sound German, but it's just very, I don't know, what you imagine, sort of the lederhosen and thing, the lederhosen wearing German. That's, I think, what I think the accent goes perfectly well with that. But I don't know why, because obviously Germany has so many different dialects and so many different things that it's kind of weird for me to say, you know what, I think the Bavarian one is, maybe it's because the one is, I don't know, maybe it's more represented outside of Germany, maybe for some reason. Maybe I think both in, I don't know, films maybe, or just in general in life, maybe I was going to say maybe they got, the more immigrants are from, the more German immigrants are from Bavaria than other region in Germany, but I don't think that's right. So I'm not going to say it, because that doesn't seem right to me. It just depends, like so many things. But yeah, really interesting video. And that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye!